This is our personal story, and it's about what our marriage has taught us about the power, the beauty, and the importance of sex. In this video, I'm going to talk about why we chose to prioritise sex in our marriage after a period of sexlessness, and the difference it's made for him, for me, for our marriage, and for our family. Hi, I'm Laura, a relationship counsellor and coach in the UK. I help couples build relationships that feel alive, connected, and deeply fulfilling. If you're new here, welcome. It's lovely to have you. There was a time we stopped having sex and it nearly broke us. But when we made it a priority again, it transformed everything: our connection, our health, our family, and how we felt about ourselves. So here's our story and why we believe sex can not only save a struggling marriage, but help you heal, grow, and become more whole as individuals. When I first met my husband 25 years ago, sex was easy, natural, exciting, and simple. The power of youth, hormones, and the primal drive to procreate obviously played a big part. But after the birth of our son, everything changed. We were exhausted and overwhelmed. Old wounds resurfaced. We had almost no support, and I was having a really hard time within myself. And so sex started to feel like the last thing I wanted. My husband didn't take this well. He was understandably frustrated and tensions grew. This went on for months, a highly stressful time where we both felt deeply insecure. But eventually the turning point came when we recognised that we needed to change if we were going to survive as a couple and do right by our son. And so our conversation started to shift to something like this: we can't live like this because we're going to ruin everything, including our son's childhood. It's you and me forever, and we're both committed to that. But the loss of intimacy is making us miserable, and we can't go on like this, so we need to do something differently. My husband was very clear about the importance of sex. He wasn't being threatening, coercive, or abusive. He was being honest and vulnerable. He explained what it meant to him and what he believed it could do for us, and I listened. In turn, I shared what I needed in order to feel safe and available again. So we agreed to put in the work, however hard. It was around this time that I also realised how disturbing it must feel for a man to live in a marriage where the door to intimacy is closed. Raising a son deepened that realisation, of course. I asked myself, at what age do little boys suddenly stop deserving physical love? At what age do they no longer need touch and closeness as much as words? Would I ever want my son to grow up untouched or have intimacy withheld from him? Of course not. So, we both went on our own journeys of growth with renewed commitment to address what was holding us back from making intimacy and our bond a priority. And with that shift in perspective, we set out to rebuild our sexual bond as a cornerstone in our marriage. In very little time, my husband regained the vitality that drew me to him in the first place. He was sharper, happier, more confident, and more purposeful. He became warmer, more playful, picking up his guitar again and joking with me and our son. His health and energy surged, making him more present for family life and more attractive to me than ever. As time went on, we began to trust ourselves, each other, and our marriage again. Limited intimacy had created doubt and distance and coldness, whereas choosing to prioritise sex and closeness communicated something simple and powerful. I love you, I choose you, and I am here with you. For us, the reintroduction of sex was like throwing open the curtains in our marriage and letting the light pour in. And it wasn't just my husband who changed, I did too. I found more joy in daily life, I felt sexier, more confident, and the constant anxiety I'd been carrying about our marriage dissolved. My libido bounced back. I looked at him and thought, this is the man I fell for and I want him again. I changed my wardrobe, the black leggings disappeared and colourful dresses and sexy outfits arrived. I felt truly desired and desirable. I had more energy, I slept better, and I began to love being me again. Our son's life changed too. There was music in the kitchen, laughter in the car, and parents who touched, smiled, and played together. His whole world felt safer and warmer. That was a decade ago now, and sex remains a continuous thread that holds us firmly in place as a couple. It's teaching us so much about who we are, where we are wounded, and what we need in terms of healing and growth. When sex is avoided, the stress of its absence dominates the marriage, but when it's embraced, it takes its powerful and natural place with ease, fueling and propelling the marriage rather than creating drag and tension. That said, I want to be clear. If your marriage is marked by coercion, control, or abuse, that's a very different story. Safety and respect must come first, and those issues need to be addressed before intimacy can ever be rebuilt. If, however, you're in a marriage where love and respect are present, even if you're struggling, this is my plea. Don't dismiss your partner's sexual needs. They're not lying when they say it matters. They're trying to communicate a fundamental truth, that sexual connection is life-giving and life-affirming, not destructive or self-serving. And of course, this isn't about putting all the responsibility on wives. A strong marriage depends on both partners nurturing every bond: trust, respect, emotional closeness, friendship, all of it. For us, that's meant becoming fluent in each other's love languages. Neither conversation nor sex is withheld, and together they've created a positive feedback loop of trust, closeness, and desire. We make ourselves available to each other, emotionally, physically, and practically, and as a result, we both continue to grow. And part of that growth for me has been recognizing some truths that are easy to overlook, especially about men, because particularly for men, sex is sustenance. Yes, they can survive without it, but surely we want more for our husbands than mere survival. If you want your man and your marriage to thrive, sexual connection is like sunlight and soil. It nourishes him in a way nothing else can, and when he thrives, your whole marriage thrives. I know every marriage is different, and every couple's path to restoring intimacy will look different too. So this is just our story, not a prescription or professional template. But if our story shows anything, it's that it's worth the effort. And for me, the continued development of my sexual self without the benefits of youth is a loving project, something I have to choose daily to nurture. Without it, I'd be a fraction of the person I am today. And for this wisdom, profound health, coherence, and self-love, I feel I owe thanks to my husband. If this video was helpful, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next conversation. I post new videos every week, and if you need some support, you can book a one-to-one session with me using the link below. And if you enjoyed this one, check out my video on why marital sex is on the decline. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. In the meantime, to yourself and to others, tell the truth.